LGBTQ. Objectives. Letter A. Discuss the LGBTQ and its meaning. Letter B. Cite an example of Filipino people who are best example of LGBTQ. LGBTQ in the Philippines. The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, also known as LGBTQ, people in the Philippines have distinguished culture in society and also have limited legal rights. Gays and lesbian are generally tolerated if not accepted in Filipino society, despite in recent events that have promoted the rights, general acceptance, and empowerment of the Filipino LGBTQ community. Discrimination remains. Homosexual in the Philippines are also known as bakla, though there exists another terms to describe them. Citation needed. Similarly, Filipino lesbian are generally known as alpha. What is lesbian? A characterized by sexual or romantic attraction to other women or between women. This is an example of lesbian. Example of lesbian in the Philippines. Jake Cyrus. Kilala siya bilang isang Charis Pempenko. Si Charis Pempenko ay isang international singer at the same time product endorser at actress. Actually, nakasama niya si Celine Dion sa isang concert na kumanta sila ng One Moment at a Time. What is gay? A characterized by sexual or romantic attraction to people of someone's same sex, often used to refer to men only. Example of gay in the Philippines is Ricky Reyes, also known as the Mother Ricky, businessman, a TV host, a professional hair makeup stylist, and also a celebrity endorser. What is bisexual? It is a romantic attraction, sexual attraction, or sexual behavior toward both males and females, or to more than one sex or gender. It may also be defined as romantic or sexual attraction to people of any sex or gender identity, which is also known as pansexual. One of the examples of bisexual is Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert is an example of bisexual. He is an American singer, songwriter, and actor since 2009. He has sold over 3 million albums and 5 million singles. Isa sa mga example natin na bilang bisexual ay si Billy Hackinson. Si Billy Hackinson ay sumali sa Miss Universe Philippines 2020. Kaya nga, sabi niya sa kanyang interview, I am a proud of bisexual. What is transgender? Transgender people are people whose gender identity is different from the gender they were taught to be at birth. Trans is often used as shorthand for transgender. When we're born, a doctor usually says that we're male or female based on our bodies look like. Most people who were labeled male at birth turn out to actually identity as men. And most people who were labeled female at birth grow up to be women. Some people's gender identity, their innate knowledge of who they are, is different from what was initially expected when they were born. Most of the people describe themselves as transgender. Bibi Gandang Hari, isa sa mga halimbawa na naging transgender. Kilala siya bilang noon, Rostum Padilla. Si Bibi Gandang Hari o Rostum Padilla ay kinasal noon kay Carmina Villarreal. Kasalukuyan, asawa ngayon ni Soren Legaspi. Si Bibi Gandang Hari, kasalukuyan ngayon nagtatrabaho sa Amerika bilang isang driver, na kapatid ni Rostum Padilla at Romel Padilla. Sa ngayon, umaasa siya na darating ang panahon magiging sikat na actress sa United States Hollywood. Miss Universe Spain. Angela Ponce is a Miss Spain, makes history as first transgender of Miss Universe contestant. Na-disqualified siya dahil bawal daw ang transgender sa Miss Universe. Kailangan natural woman. A Filipino journalist and politician, serving as the representative of Bataan in 1st District since 2016. She is the first transgender person elected to the Congress of the Philippines. She was named as one of 100 leading global thinkers of 2016 by US-based Foreign Policy magazine, one of Inspiring Women of 2016 released by the Times magazine, also known as Geraldine Batista Roman. Queer or questioning, an adjective used by some people, particularly younger people, whose sexual orientation is not exclusively heterosexual. Typically, for those who identify as queer, the term lesbian, gay, and bisexual are perceived to be limiting and or fraught with cultural connotation. They feel they don't apply to them. Ito yung nagsasabi na hindi niya alam kung siya ay babae or lalaki. Minsan, pag nasa bakla siya, kahit yun ang pagkatao niya, hindi rin niya kayang tanggapin o tinatago niya. Pero by its nature, siya ay sinasabi niya sa sarili niya na walang nakakalam, siya ay isang bakla. Kaya nga, ito'y tinatawag na queer or questioning. Ganon din sa pagkakaroon ng lesbian, na ayaw niyang tanggapin na siya ay lesbian, pero in real life sa kanyang mga kilos at panililikta, siya ay sinasabing lesbian. Mga artistang lalaki na gumanap bilang gay role sa pelikula at ngayon ay milyonaryo na sila. Dolby, kilala bilang comedy queen. Gumawa siya ng pelikulang Markova at Darna Kuno. Joey De Leon. Mga movies niya noong mga 90s. She-Man, Barbie Made in the Philippines, Helen Bola. At syempre, ang bagong mati niya idol na ngayon na si Ken-chan, gumalap ng isang Destiny Rose sa isang teleserye drama sa GMA7. Syempre, hindi rin magpapahuli sila Paula Ballesteros, Jose Manalo, at Wally Bayola bilang kilala sa The Lola's Beautiful Show. The 29 countries around the world where same-sex marriage is legal. Countries with same-sex marriage is legal. Number 1, Netherlands. Nag-start sa kanila ng same-sex marriage as a legal noong year 2000. Tumala ang Belgium, Spain, South Africa, Norway, Sweden, Argentina. Portugal, 2010. Iceland, 2010. Denmark, 2010. Uruguay, 2013. England, 2013. Scotland, 2014. At syempre hindi rin magpapahuli ang United States of America na nagkaroon ng same-sex legal marriage noong 2015. Mga artista sa Pilipinas na nagpakasal sa ibang bansa ng same-sex marriage. Syempre, nandiyan na si Aiza Sigera. Ang hiling ni Aiza Sigera, we're just asking for equal here, hindi sa church, kundi sa Pilipinas, sa bansa. We're talking about laws na sana matingnan kaming mga LGBTQ as equals. Rosana Roses, married to Blessy Arias, kinasal ngayon sa Amerika. Si Rosana Roses ay isang kilalang aktres o bold-star noong dekada 90. Is there a law in the Philippines about same-sex marriage? This is the final answer. Philippine Supreme Court rules same-sex marriage. January 24, 2020. On January 6, 2020, the Philippine Supreme Court announced it has dismissed a motion to reconsider its September 2019 ruling denying petition to approve same-sex marriage in the country, effectively concluding the case with a finality. The petition had essentially requested that the court declare unconstitutional on equality grounds certain provision of the Philippine Family Code that define marriage as a union between a man and a woman. The court indicated in its ruling that the petitioner's request was too limited in scope, as there are a wide variety of other statutes beside the Family Code that similarly treat marriage as a heterosexual institution. Thus, it stated the petitioner should have made a direct argument against those other statutes as well, which he failed to do. In the absence of such argument, the court stated that the granting the petitioner request would cause the court to arrogate to itself quasi-legislative power, as this would be necessary in order to amend all the statutes that inevitably would have to change to accommodate his petition. The court thus explained that such a task should be done by the Philippine Congress through the pertinent legislative process. In addition, the court stated that the petitioner had failed to demonstrate that he was directly affected by the provision he deemed unconstitutional, as he did not request, and thus was not denied, a license to enter into a same-sex marriage, and consequently could not establish the proper standing to file his lawsuit. Furthermore, the court indicated that the petitioner had failed to abide by the principle known as the hierarchy of force, according to which he should have filed his case in a trial court, which he did not do, where factual and evidentiary matters are properly processed. Instead, the petitioner filed his lawsuit directly in the Supreme Court, which being the Philippines' highest court may not appropriately process and discharge those procedural matters. In its decision announced in January 2020, the court stated that no substantial argument were presented to warrant the reversal of the question decision, and thus no further pleadings or motion will be entertained on this matter. Authored by Gustavo Guerra. Topic: Same-sex marriage, Supreme Court trials and court proceedings. Jurisdiction: Philippines. Dated on January 24, 2020. Alam natin na hindi aprobado sa Korte Suprema ang pagpapakasal ng same-sex marriage. dapat daw igalang natin ang batas ng family code na ang marriage ay dapat sa lalaki at babae lamang. Ang tanong, is there any discrimination in the LGBTQ for same-sex marriage in the Philippines? Mag-isip ka. Katulad ng bansang mayayaman na United States of America, Scotland, Canada, Australia at marami pang iba, ay legal ang same-sex marriage. Sa tingin nila nakakatulong to sa ekonomiya at sa kanilang bansa.